Being with Jesus changes you, whether you realize it or not. Here's today's text from Acts chapter 4, at verse 13. Now when they saw the boldness of Peter and John, and perceived that they were uneducated common men, they were astonished, and they recognized that they had been with Jesus. They recognized they'd been with Jesus. We're in a new series on the life of Peter, an ordinary man whose life was transformed by being with Jesus. When authorities saw the courage and power flowing in Peter, they recognized he'd been with Jesus. There's a self-help author who's famously claimed that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Well, I don't think the claim's very far from the truth. We are so easily, so unthinkingly shaped by the people with whom we spend the most time. After over 34 years of marriage coming up on it, Ann and I chuckle at how often we catch ourselves thinking the same thoughts. We've been driving down the road in silence, and precisely the same moment we speak and find that the exact same thought was on our minds. You ever had that happen with somebody? Just you become like them because you're with them so much. It's not a conscious thought or a process to try to become like the person you spend your life with. For example, you don't plan or try to talk the way your parents talk. Growing up in the South, I never tried to have a Southern accent. You just pick it up from being around people who speak with a Southern drawl. Or consider another example. My father was quite artistic, and as a young man he doodled with cartoons a good bit. In fact, he drew the pictures for his high school yearbook. As a kid, I enjoyed art too. When I was in junior high school, school leaders asked me to draw the pictures for the yearbook. You know, it never even dawned on me until years later that I'd mirrored my father's teenage years in our yearbook artwork. Similarly, when I'm driving, I drum my thumbs on the steering wheel. And it wasn't until years of driving I recognized I was drumming that wheel in the exact manner my dad used to do. So if I unthinkingly become like my father, doodling cartoons or thumping a steering wheel to the radio, how much might we become like Christ simply by being with Him? The transformation in Peter's life didn't come through Peter's vows to be more like Jesus. The transformation came simply by being with Jesus. The glory of the good news is not just that God has committed Himself to being with you. He has also invited you to be with Him. And as you're with Him, you become like Him. That's the gospel. Well, that's today's good news. To get more like it, just click right here, or better yet, subscribe to the channel and get all of these devotionals on video. And I hope that you have a great day.